Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Bowl special episode of Off the Bench. We're here at UPMC Field at lovely St. Vincent College. Boys, it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep.
What's
Can't
better?
wait. Great. Just did my line of cocaine.
Great day.
I'm ready to go.
Ready to go?
Yep.
Amped up?
Oh, fuck.
Beautiful day out, too.
It is. It's a beautiful
Not brisk.
day.
It's 75 degrees and sunny.
Yep.
Can't get any better right here. We're
Yeah,
down
I
in
think the sun's
Miami.
speaking out of the
In
clouds.
beautiful Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we're down in Miami at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And hoodie and sweatpants. Yep. That's right.
Just be
Can't
aware,
get
guys,
sunburned.
there may be some, you might hear some airplane noises. We're
Airplane
right near an
taking off
airport.
right now.
It's taking off right now. We were joking
That's,
about it earlier.
That's
it
off
goes.
the bench's airport. We use that.
Yep.
We're using
Yes,
that to go
that's
down to Miami.
That's our
It's actually,
personal airport.
Looks like Spirit to me.
Airlines.
Yep,
It's
looks
the
like
only
Spirit
airport
to
that
me.
runs out of there. One of the worst airlines of all time, but that's all right.
That's
All
what
right,
we're
so
flying
so we can talk. Let's talk matchups, guys. All right, so let's talk O-line versus D-line.
Yeah.
I think everybody is going to agree that San Francisco has the better of the two groups. What do you guys think?
Or are we just comparing D-line, or?
D-line, and then D-lines to the opposite team's O-line.
Oh, definitely. With 49ers, they have Forrest Buckner or Nick Bosa,
Yep.
the rookie sensation, probably defensive rookie of the year.
Defensive
And then
rookie
D
of the year,
Ford, who used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's a little bit of a storyline there where he gets to face off against his former team. But yeah, this whole 49ers defense, they've been suffocating all year with getting pressure. Though Kansas City, their offensive line has done, I believe, they're top 5 in least amount of pressures allowed to the quarterback. So that'll be a very interesting matchup there.
Yeah, who's Kansas City's right tackle? Do we know?
Mitchell Schwartz.
Or left tackle? Is
Schwartz.
Right
Bosa's
tackle is
gonna
Mitchell
be-
Schwartz.
Yeah, he's
because
probably
a
one of the
former
best.
Brown.
Yeah, he's
a
one of the
former
best.
Brown.
He's one of the best in the league.
Bosa's gonna have a day. I think. You know, as a rookie, the emotions are gonna be with him early.
He's
Yeah.
always
Very
been
early.
he's always been a big stage player.
He's
though.
been a gamer.
He's
been a gamer.
But this
Yeah.
is something else. This is the
This
Super
is-
Bowl. This
the
is the
Super
greatest
Bowl is a
American
different
league
level.
event ever.
The commercial times are longer. I know it sounds funny, but it's something to get adjusted to
Yeah.
for the players because you're used to
So much media timeouts.
so many
Yeah.
media timeouts and the national anthem.
Yes.
Are the players gonna be able to make it through the national anthem? It may be 3 minutes this year with Demi Lovato.
Yeah, she, like you said, no, she's all about herself. So the over/under is what on the
I
minute
think it's
50?
158.
150.
I believe.
Taking the over, probably double
taking
that.
the over.
Probably double that.
Over, way over.
I think it's going to be like 2:30. I think she'll hold a couple notes extra long.
Yeah. And maybe cracking in the voice.
A
Yeah.
little crack in the voice, show some emotion. But I mean, moving from one music subject to the other, the halftime show has been uproars. J-Lo apparently doesn't want to share the stage with Shakira, even though people are saying, and it's true, that outside of the United States, Shakira is basically Beyonce outside of the United States. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, you know what? I think, like you said before we did the show, Lady Gaga's last halftime performance that
Was
was
the
probably
best.
one of the best of in recent memory. But I think
Yeah.
the best of all time was 2007 when Prince performed "Purple
That was
Rain"
fantastic.
in the rain. That was
That
the best.
great.
It was the Colts against the Bears. It was a great game.
That was
I
a
mean,
great Super Bowl.
I
Yes, it was.
That was
remember
the first
very
Super Bowl
little,
I remember
but,
watching.
Yeah,
but
it was a
watching
really
that
good Super
though,
Bowl.
but watching Prince perform "Purple Rain" in the rain, you can't beat it. So, but yeah,
Rest in peace to a legend as well.
I know,
Prince.
I know.
You know, what I'm thinking is,
What do you
with
think?
J-Lo performing, do we have an Alex Rodriguez appearance up on stage?
No.
Do we have an A-Rod appearance?
We're
No,
not
we
gonna
don't.
have an
We're not-
A-Rod.
You don't see A-Rod up there dancing a little bit.
Wait,
There's
you think
already
he's gonna salsa like
yeah,
Victor
give me the
Cruz? No.
salsa.
There's
No.
already going to be 50 to 100 dancers
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the stage, so it doesn't even matter. You're going to
Will
see.
we have a wardrobe malfunction like the Janet Jackson Justin Timberlake
it's-
incident?
I don't think anyone's
Hey,
going to.
there's a lot of bets. There's a lot of bets out there. A lot of bets for the Super Bowl as always.
Yeah. I mean, we got a little sidetracked, but let's go back to
That's
the
fine.
the matchup. So we talked about 49ers defensive line versus the Chiefs offense. What about the Chiefs defensive line versus the Niners O line?
Well, yeah, they've improved a lot, especially in the back half of the year, and compared to last season where their defense was
Yeah,
almost
the Chiefs
at the
defense
bottom.
was god awful.
Yeah, so you really have to commend them. I think at the beginning it'll be a little bit of a defensive battle, but once those big plays, start to break open, the game's just going to explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really not much to say about the Chiefs' defense. They've struggled throughout the year, like Maui said.
Yeah.
Gotten a lot better, especially that D-line.
Uh-huh.
Kansas City's D-line really stepped it up in the late part of the season and the playoffs so far. The thing is about the game overall, Kansas City, if they get down 14, 14-0, 10-0. I'm not worried about it. They've been down all playoffs long.
24-0 against the
24-0
Texans.
against the Texans, 17-7 and 10-0 against the Titans in the AFC Championship game. I'm really not worried about Kansas City getting down. Now, if San Francisco gets down with Kansas City's offense, I think
Kansas City can just keep pouring
that's
it
a
on.
recipe for disaster
Yep.
if San Francisco gets down.
That was my whole prediction, but we'll get to our prediction of
Yeah.
the game at the end.
Well, I feel that, it's a pretty impressive that we saw the 49ers. They're just dominance
Yeah.
Over the playoffs. I mean,
Absolutely.
not one team's really came close. I mean, I think the closest score was Green Bay Packers. But
Yeah.
They got garbage points at the end of the
Yeah.
the end of the game. So I think they're going to continue their dominance going in. But like Noah said, if they get down early, the way Kansas City's built, they can just keep pouring it on.
I was going to talk about Richard Sherman, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
So we're talking about the O-lines and the D-lines. Bringing up O-line and D-line, let's talk about the run game. I mean, both teams have a committee back set, which it seems like it's starting to take the league by storm. You can't have one every down back, which, I mean, sucks for fantasy owners, but it's good for the league because you're seeing fresh backs getting in there, bringing up big yards. I mean, people like that, but people are also going to like defensive battles. So let's talk about the 49ers committee. What do you guys think about those guys?
Mostert, there's not much to say about him. He had an outstanding AFC Championship game. Do we know if Tevin Coleman? I'm sure he's going to be available.
He'll be available.
I know he got hurt.
Yeah.
He'll be available.
Dislocated shoulder.
He's had a couple weeks. They probably popped it back in, gave him some Novocaine.
And then with Matt Breida as well.
Yeah, that's a three-back set, which I think we talked about a couple weeks ago. Like you said, that's transforming the NFL now, a committee running back. I hope the Steelers go to it next year, and I think that more teams are going to start to
whether
develop
it be just
that.
the 2 or a 3-back set.
I mean,
Because look at what the Browns did in the back half of the year.
Absolutely.
With Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
And these are the teams that are going to the Super Bowl every year with these running back by committee set.
I mean, that's what
New England's
New England's been
Sonny
doing.
Michel
They've
and
done it
James
for
White.
years, and that's what
And
the
even
NFL is
Buckhead over
transforming
there.
into. I believe that is the top 2 position to have going into the Super Bowl, running back by committee. 2-3 running backs who can really run the ball hard, physical, and quick and get upfield. And another position's tight end, which we'll get into later. Every good team in the playoffs had a tight end this year.
I completely agree with Noah. It's very important to have those 2 to 3 running backs in play. You have one in the backfield and then one in the slot or out wide, and those mismatches. With a linebacker having to cover a running back, and maybe 2 or 3 running backs just rotating. They're getting fresh. They're rejuvenated.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, those linebackers get tired. Their tongue's dragging on the turf, and that's where the offense of both teams can take advantage.
I think that's why we're seeing the uproar in running back
In
by
the
committee.
committees.
The freshness of the running backs. Mostert ran for 280 yards, around 280 yards, in the NFC Championship game.
Oh, it's 220. The whole team had like around 300.
That's unbelievable. And every single one of those running backs ran for 4 quarters.
Yep.
Because they're fresh and they get their plays and then they're out and then they come back for a play. That's huge.
And we're always talking about, Jimmy only threw 8 passes going into the 4th quarter. So he can turn it on. I think people just slightly forgot about that because they just ran the ball. It helped them. It did its job obviously.
Yep.
And so I think Jimmy G can definitely turn it on when needed. He'll definitely have to do this against Kansas City.
I think also going back to the running back by committee, if you're talking about running backs and playing incentives, if the back's not doing well, you can just switch him out, put another back in.
Exactly.
It's good for the team. It's good for. I think it might not be as good for player morale, but it makes the players who think that they're invulnerable vulnerable.
Yeah. Can we really quickly talk about the fullback position too?
Yeah.
Because the fullback position extremely, and you know this being a football player, helps your run game.
Yes.
I think
that's a problem that a lot of teams are starting to figure out, that they need to have a fullback on staff. Like the Browns actually just signed the fullback from Minnesota.
Yeah.
To put in their offense.
And I think that has been the story of the NFL all season. San Fran uses their fullback as even a pass catcher.
Because that's what they're going back to the old 2000s fullbacks.
Down the field, 25, 30 yards down the field. And he helps the run game out tremendously. And you see teams who don't have fullbacks in the NFL. The Steelers this year are the perfect example. Rosie Nix was hurt most of the year. Their run game was absolutely awful. San Fran he and Kansas City both use the fullback to a certain extent. Kansas City, San Fran definitely uses the fullback, and their run game was outstanding this year.
Well, yeah, you're talking about Anthony Sherman and
Yes.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Yep.
Kyle Juszczyk, a multiple-time Pro Bowler.
Juszczyk's probably the best in the league.
Well, that and Pat Ricard
Yeah.
with Baltimore. And, Kyle Juszczyk used to be a Baltimore Raven. Joe Flacco used him a bit down there.
Yeah.
And Anthony Sherman, just more of a blocking type.
Yep.
Patty Mahomes will just, times when he needs to find a target, he'll throw it to him. So they trust him. Like Noah said, blocking-wise, both are just one of the best in the game.
Yeah, and like I said, that's fullback's key to running success. You have to have a fullback to have success in the run.
Which is weird. I mean, there's that short, time where fullbacks are just less and less and
Yeah.
less. But now we're seeing the
a rebirth almost.
Exactly, and
Yep.
I love that. You just don't.
I like
It's
seeing
like
the fat guys
back
in the
into
run
the
game.
toughness. It brings
because you
toughness
can't
back.
win in the playoffs without a running game.
No,
you can't be
anymore.
one-dimensional in the playoffs.
No.
Yeah, the five teams that led the league in rushing,
Yep.
they all made the playoffs.
Yep.
All right, so moving from the fullback to kind of another essential part of the passing game, it seems like now, is the tight end position. I mean, we've got two fantastic tight ends on both sides of the ball. We got George Kittle with the San Francisco 49ers and Travis Kelce with the Kansas City Chiefs. So what's that tight end matchup going to be? I mean, we were talking about it that now next year in fantasy, I'm thinking of probably in the third round taking a tight end.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
if you can't
One
get
of
a good
those two
tight end,
guys.
one of those two guys, because if you can't get a quality tight end in your league, you're screwed. So, I mean, what do you guys think about these tight end matchups?
If you're talking about fantasy, Mal, you can go first real quick. But if you're talking
Yeah.
about fantasy, Travis Kelce is going to go in the second round in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
And same with Kittle. They're
Yeah.
going to go early next year.
Yeah.
Really, you only back in the day, you really only had two types of tight ends. You either had the blocking or you had the receiving.
catching tight
Yeah.
end.
But nowadays, they're just combined. They're skinny offensive linemen and fat wide receivers all together. So this will solidify who is the best tight end in the NFL. Whoever has the
absolutely.
better game, whoever helps their team, this will solidify them as the best tight end. So you're looking at 1 and 2. You don't know until the game's over which one's the best one.
I think that based off of, and no disrespect to George Kittle, he's very, very good, and he's going to have a good game. You're talking about two guys here in Kelce and Kittle who are going to have, I believe, 7 to 8 catches for 90 to 100 yards in this football game.
And at least one touchdown.
But I think the difference maker is going to be the weapons that are beside Travis Kelce, because if you're looking to solely focus on Travis Kelce, you can't do it. You got
Tyreek
Olympic track runners like Tyreek Hill,
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins, McCole Hardman,
Yep.
who are running down the field, and they will beat you. That's why I think the difference maker is going to be those other weapons on the sides of Travis Kelce, and I think that the weapons on the side of him are better than the weapons that San Fran has on the side of George Kittle.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. I mean,
And I think that could be
who's-
the difference
Who's the
maker.
number one receiver for San Francisco?
George Kittle.
George Kittle,
And,
absolutely. Yeah.
Deebo Samuel's
Deebo
slot.
Samuel, yeah.
Who's there? Is Marquise Godwin, I think?
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't he put? Never mind.
You're thinking Chris Godwin.
Yeah,
Chris
that's what I was
Godwin plays
thinking.
for the Tampa
Marquise
Bay
Goodwin,
Buccaneers.
I think it is.
Goodwin.
Marquise Goodwin,
Goodwin.
yes,
That's
Goodwin,
what.
I'm sorry.
That's what got me.
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's once again another solid weapon to have for San Fran.
Yeah.
But like I said, Mal, do you agree with this, and Isaac too? I think you're talking about guys who are going to have 7 to 8 catches in this football game.
Maybe
Yeah.
more. I think
Maybe
Travis
more.
Kelce will probably have 10 to 12.
Yeah, I think that
We saw him
So
against.
if you think if Kelce gets all those catches and Kansas City wins, do you think Mahomes gets MVP, or do you think they give it to Travis Kelce like they did
they're
with
going to give it
Edelman?
to the quarterback.
They always
It's
do.
been the story of the quarterback, other than Santonio Holmes.
Oh, last year we saw Julian Edelman.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
Edelman.
Would you give it to?
That's a good question.
Kelce in there?
I shouldn't say that. I really shouldn't say that it's going to always be the quarterback, because it's really not anymore.
I think it all depends on how Patrick Mahomes plays, and I
Yeah.
think he'll just play great. I think both quarterbacks will play great. I think at the end it will come down to who turns over the ball one more time than the other quarterback.
It's going to be a very close game.
Very close. And I
High
think
scoring.
It could be. We're talking about tight ends. It could be the battle of the tight ends in the end.
Yeah.
Could be the battle of the tight
So,
ends.
so we talked about it a little bit. Let's move on to the receivers. We talked that Kansas City has a lot. I wouldn't say a lot better, but they have a better receiving core, arguably, than San Francisco.
You could say a lot.
More experience.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, more experience. So
Absolutely.
how's that matchup going to pair up? Because you've got Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins going up against Richard Sherman, and who's the other corner for San Francisco? exactly?
Great question. Did
Well,
any of
really,
you-
do any of you guys know? Because I don't know who their other corner is.
Well, that's because the only one we ever hear from is
Richard
Richard
Sherman.
Exactly.
Always
Other than that,
running
they
his
have
mouth.
those safeties. I think one's Coleman as well. They played together in high school. I forget their names, but they're solid players as well.
Yeah.
They'll use them to come down on either the tight end or receivers.
But
you really
here's
hear
the problem, though. If you're double covering Tyreek Hill with all his speed, that's going to leave another receiver open.
Exactly.
Well, that's spoiler of my predictions, Kansas City. But
Yeah, I think so as well.
it's going to be in San Francisco's defense. I respect the hell out of that defense.
Yeah.
Very, very solid defense. Maui, we've talked about this throughout the week, how solid that defense is on the other side of the ball. But these Olympic track runners, as I keep calling them, because Tyreek Hill is thinking about going for the Olympics
he
after
should.
the Super Bowl.
He
should, because I think that he could maybe
They were-
not
they were
compete with
time-
Usain Bolt.
Well,
They were
Usain
timing
Bolt's
him,
retired.
and his 200 is like absolutely insane. Just his 200 meters
Yeah,
per
I
hour.
mean, Tyreek Hill could be the new Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
He could
Okay,
be.
let's
He
slow
could
down
be.
there.
That's a
Let's
little-
slow down there.
But listen,
That's a little much, buddy.
like you said, if they double cover him, you're leaving Kelce, Watkins, Hardman, even
Yeah.
the running backs. Even
Exactly.
the running backs. It's going to be tough to stop them. I'm telling you, it's going to be tough.
And especially with Mahomes' playmaking ability outside of the pocket.
But again, nerves always come into play.
Yep.
But I like that you brought it up. Mahomes' escapability
Yeah.
outside of the pocket. I think that's going to
let's
rely.
talk about the quarterbacks
That'll
then. We
be
can talk about
Yep.
the quarterback
that'll
battle.
be huge for Nick Bosa, whoever's on the other D Ford, DeForest Buckner, whoever plays the other side
Yep.
of the end. That'll be really important for them to contain because you never know what we already seen what Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill can do when Mahomes escapes the pocket. He'll
When a
burn
play-
you for
when a
50
play
yards,
breaks up,
60
yep.
yards. Yeah.
What do you think, Noah? We're talking quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think I was looking at the St. Vincent football recruits.
Are
up
they?
there. Yeah, those are the
Yeah, they
recruits
are.
up there. Mal, you want to give them away? Tell them off the bench right here. Good to see you guys.
I don't know if you waved or
I don't think you did.
No.
But about the quarterbacks, Mahomes, I want to say Mahomes has the slight advantage over Jimmy G. His escapability outside of the pocket, as you talked about, is huge. If you can extend plays, that's when the big plays happen,
Yep.
when you extend plays. And I think that Jimmy G has great experience from playing with Tom Brady, but he's never played in the big game, neither has Mahomes.
No.
But Mahomes has played in some big games more
Yeah.
than Jimmy G has,
Yeah.
and I think that
Well, Jimmy G hasn't really played in big
Yeah.
games. He's been to big
he's
games.
been to, yes, you're
Yes.
exactly
He saw
right.
the best ever do what he does.
Which I
Yeah.
think is going to be a huge help for him.
Yeah.
I really think that could be a huge help. But if we're talking about advantages, I think obviously Mahomes has
Yeah.
the advantage.
Yeah, just the things he can do with his arm. Definitely, Jimmy G likes to stay in the pocket, rely on more of his accuracy than his athleticism, as we've seen from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And that will definitely give him the edge. Anytime you can have more athleticism at one position than the other, it helps you tremendously. And I'm sorry to go back to this, but I think we'll see Quan Alexander, very athletic
Yeah.
linebacker
Yep.
for the 49ers. I think
Yeah.
we'll see him line up
Yep.
with
Probably
Travis
against
Kelce.
Kelce.
Yeah.
Just using his athletic ability as well.
think
Sorry.
that-
I'm just looking at
Maui sees the recruits
They're
up
all
there.
looking
He's
at
trying to
us.
think
Yeah.
about next season.
They're all
maybe.
looking at us like we're idiots on
Yeah,
the
an
football field.
all
That's all
conference
right.
tour. That's
All
what it
conference
is.
tour. Yep. All right. Well, I mean, I'll talk. So
Yeah.
I think like you guys both. I'll reiterate what you guys said. With Mahomes, that athletic ability, that he's got that X factor, that Madden X factor that you can't stop. Like his ability to make plays is uncanny, and it's something that you don't see very often, which is why he was such a high draft pick. I mean,
He was 10th.
he was 10th, but he wasn't taken before Mitch Trubisky for
Where's
some
Mitch
reason.
Trubisky right now?
Probably in Monroe,
Chicago.
Ohio.
What kind of season did he have?
Not a good one.
Ass. It was an ass season. Due to
Like
straight
Thanks for
butt
reminding me.
Chicago.
Just-
North Carolina
Just a
quarterback.
Very, very,
from Monroe, Ohio.
very, very questionable draft pick.
Yep.
Trubisky in Chicago.
But
Shame.
I mean, other than that, so let's go to predictions, guys. What do you think the score of the game is going to be, and who do you think is going to win?
Well, I gave my prediction on Monday in RJ's
In our-
class.
Yep. In our
Very
sports
good
media
class.
promo
You guys,
class.
I can't believe you people who are watching this did not take that class.
Yep.
But 34-27 Kansas City.
Okay.
Very, very tight game.
Yeah.
Gonna be back and forth. I think you're gonna see San Fran take a couple leads. Kansas City's gonna be taking a couple leads, but in the end, Kansas City's offense will outplay San Francisco's defense.
Well, the over-under is 53.5,
Yep.
I believe. I'm
Yes, it
taking
is.
the over. It will be San Fran 42, Kansas City 38.
Yeah.
And I believe who's the favorite by 1.5 points?
Well, I think it's a pick'em game now. I think it's one. I think
It
it's
is?
yeah. I think it's
even.
even spread. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
It was 1.5 on Monday. I could be wrong with that even spread, but I heard that they were moving it down to even. So
All right. So you said 34-27.
yeah, Kansas City.
I'm gonna go 34 Kansas City, 24.
Okay.
10 points.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a
Really?
10-point game. I think that if they can't get the run game going, I don't think Jimmy G's gonna be able. I don't think he's gonna be able
Well,
to.
we've
keep
seen
up.
it from Jimmy G when they faced the Saints. Now, I'm not saying the Saints are Kansas City, but I mean they're a high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have a high-powered, but I will say to go against that, the Saints did have a lot better of a defense than Kansas City. They had a better defense.
At the
A
time,
better
yeah.
secondary. A better secondary, I should say.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
quickly, I know we just gave our predictions, but can we talk about the coaches very quickly?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to base that off
Yeah.
of my prediction. I think part of the reason that I picked Kansas City is because of the offensive guru.
Andy Reid.
How about them Chiefs? Andy Reid. Love Andy Reid. Always liked Andy Reid. I think he is one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated coach in the game of football. And I think that his experience over Kyle Shanahan's experience.
Well, you got a question with Shanahan. Will he have some of the experience? Like, will he be
28-3.
given some tips from his dad?
Well, and also 28-3. But that's a great point.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan's going to be there. I
Mike Shanahan will be there. So.
wonder if he'll put a headset on.
28-3. Yeah.
28-3. You think he's going to be able to shake those ghosts out of his head?
Who, Shanahan?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, but they both have ghosts. I mean, really, 28-3.
Yeah.
And then Andy Reid losing the Super Bowl when he was with the
With the
Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles.
Yeah. So they both want to prove themselves back into legitimate. Well, especially Andy Reid at this point in his career. Super Bowl or not Super Bowl Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think if he wins the Super Bowl, he will.
He definitely. Well, Bill
Yeah.
Cowher. Yeah. He
If Bill
went.
Cowher's in the Hall of Fame, he'll definitely
Yeah,
be in there.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that'll help him. And did you see Andy Reid's comment about his grandkids?
I did not.
They're like sweet and sour chicken. Take it how you want it.
Well, who has the advantage in your opinion? If there is one, it could be even, just like the spread.
Jeez. Explosive players, I'll have to give the edge. I'll give the edge to Kansas City. I believe 49ers with their defense. We've seen the Super Bowl, last few Super Bowls, really be a defensive battle.
Yeah.
And the defense
Yes.
really steps up. And we saw last year with the Patriots and the Rams. The year before that, we saw the Eagles strip sack Tom Brady
Yep.
to close that
out.
Exactly. And then the Patriots, their
Patriots.
defense stopping
Yep.
the Falcons scoring any more point, or I think one more touchdown.
One more touchdown.
It was only one more touchdown
Yep.
in the second half.
All right, guys. That'll do it for our little Super Bowl Sunday episode for you guys. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.